All praises, all praises, all praises to the heavenly, holy, almighty creator of infinity, eternity, the universe, the stars, the earth, the mountains, the oceans, the valleys, the seas, the clouds, all creeping things, humanity, and all there is. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit. Hello, family. We are back together again. And as usual, I am at the greatest level of honor, privilege, pleasure to be before you to make presentation. My sincerest gift to the nation. And we are together in our consensual assembly as we congregate at the threshold of transition, and we surrender our carnal commonalities and expose our cranial universes to the fire and the heat and the power of the word of the Lord. All praises. And to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, wherever you may sojourn on planet Earth, my continuous petition and prayer and care for your safety. And to my brothers and sisters of the world, the pending Israelites, those who refer to themselves as the melanated and Moors, the original man and children of God, the sovereigns and sojourners, the copper-colored, the people of color, the aboriginals and indigenous, the natives, Negroes, and niggas, the African Americans and blacks, the descendants of slaves, and those conquered and colonized. Oh yes, we are blessed to be together in this wonderful area and space in the place so we may enjoy each other's face in our warm, coordinated, comfortable area of care and compassion and concern for the brothers and sisters of the nation. All praises. And of course, we are at the Revelations.Unveiled Detroit den, where it will begin. And we share in the wonderful cocoa and chocolate, the wonderful spiced and cured tea, the donuts and brownies. We have all smiles and no frownies. And we love, and this is love. And this is our care, and this is our safety. We are here to partake of the holy cosmic information and frequency and communication of the truth of our identity. All praises, family. And we will be continuing in the third part of our series, The Slave Trade, where we are examining the Judean, the Israelite diaspora as it spread all throughout the region, and most specifically down into the continent or the land of Ham, as it is referred to biblically. And so, in our last part, we were examining the northern territories in which the Israelites and Judeans were filtering after the Roman destruction in 70 AD. And we followed their migration through Egypt and through Libya and Tunisia and Algeria and Morocco, all the way up into the southern portions of Spain, fleeing Roman persecution and war and captivity. And now this evening we will continue our journey into the migration of the Judeans, the Israelites, the 12 tribes scattered. And we begin at the Revelations.Unveiled Detroit channel standard in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Followed by our second heavenly standard in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 8, in reference to the holy anointed Messiah, the wonderful, the Redeemer, the Savior, the King of Israel, whom the word refers to as Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. All right, family, we have donned our helmet, our shield, and our sword. We have straightened our shoulders. We have steadied our knees. We dip our heads and we head into the battle down the hallway of hell through all the arrows of affliction and the daggers to our dignity, arrogance, and egos, and those javelin spikes headed to the pineal region of our cranial cortex. And we begin in the slave trade, part 3. The Byzantine emperors in the 5th and 6th centuries persecuted the Jews constantly. Therefore, multitudes of Jews were compelled to migrate into the Sahara Desert to the south. By this time, the Sahara Desert was heavily occupied with black Jews. The Arabs pushed their way out of Arabia in the 7th century. In the year 640 AD, they attacked Egypt and continued across Africa. Then a Judean queen named Kahina organized an army consisting of Jews and Berbers in order to stop the penetration of the Muslims in North Africa. This queen vanquished the Arabs, and the people of Africa rejoiced in her victory. Years later, the Mohammedans fought the army of this Judean queen once more, and she was defeated. She was defeated the second time because of the jealousies of different people in various tribes. Having become disgusted, her son turned Muslim and participated in the Islamic conquests of Spain in the year 711 AD. The Black Judean Empire of Ghana. The ancient Black Empire of Ghana was established in the Western Sudan. During the colonial period, the Western Sudan was called French West Africa, the northern boundary of this region in the Sahara Desert. The western and southern border is Lake Chad. Some rivers in this region are the Senegal, the Gambia River, the Volta River, the Benue, the Longon, and the last but not least is the famous Niger River. This river flows from the Guinea Highlands northeast to the famous cities of Timbuktu and Gao. Then it makes a sharp turn and flows southeast toward the city of Benin in Nigeria. In ancient times, the Carthaginians from North Africa penetrated the Sahara Desert and the Western Sudan during the 2nd and 3rd centuries BC. When North and Eastern Africa had amassed over 1 million Jews, these Jews began a continuous migration into the region of the Niger River. According to the researchers of Nahum Slosh, the tradition of the Judean traders in the Sahara traces back to biblical times. Slosh continues, "It is not at all surprising to encounter in every part of the desert traces and even survivals of a primitive Judean way, which at one time played an important role in the whole region of the Sahara from Senegal to the very border of Somaliland." As I have mentioned earlier, this region that extends across the entire width of Africa below the Sahara Desert from Senegal to Somaliland is known as the Sudan or Black Africa. Between the 2nd and 3rd centuries, the Black Jews of Arabia continued migrating across the Red Sea to Ethiopia. The largest exodus of Jews occurred during the persecution by the Arabs led by Muhammad. He had said on his dying bed that he wanted Islam to be supreme throughout all Arabia. There was a Judean tribe called Reta, which crossed the Red Sea and migrated to the extreme point of the Western Sudan. At the same time, the Jews were migrating westward across the Sudan from Ethiopia. They also migrated southward from Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco to the fertile region between the Senegal and Niger rivers. When the Jews from the north and the east met between these two rivers, they established a confluence of crossroads in West Africa where men could exchange their culture, their ideas, and merchandise. These Judean migrations, the frequency of about 300 AD, and they continued with the utmost regularity for 1,200 years. Joseph J. Williams points out the course of the Judean migration from the northeastern Africa. He writes that the Jews migrated up the Nile, passing Memphis, Elephantine, Khartoum, and then they turned west toward Kordofan in central Sudan. In the region of the White Nile, Williams thinks some Jews settled in the country of the Shilluk in the southern Sudan and Uganda. He continues by tracing the migration from Kordofan going west to Darfur, Lake Chad, Kano, and then to the countries of the Niger River. The original inhabitation of the Songhai people was Ganguia, Kukya, or Kuka. This place was situated in the Dindi country known as Dindina, lying near the Niger River on the northwestern border of what is now the modern state of Nigeria. Many scholars think that the Songhai people came from Egypt or Ethiopia because there exists many Egyptian culture complexes among them. For example, the preparation of the dead body for burial. Za-el-Yemeni came to Kuka in 300 AD, an ancient abode of the Songhai tribe. He established a line of kings known as the Za, Ja, or the Dia dynasty. This founder of the first Sudanic dynasty in Western Africa was a black Jew. His name is sometimes written Za al-Ayamana. Joseph J. Williams says that a citizen of Timbuktu named Aberduraham El-Sadi wrote in 1652 in his book Tariq es-Sudan, History of the Sudan, that Za-el-Ayaman was derived from Ja min el-Yemen, which means he is come from Yemen. Za-el-Yemeni came to the Niger country by way of Wargia in central Algeria. Wargia was a great trading center of the black Jews. Dr. Barth and Professor Godby say that the Za, the founder of the first Judean dynasty, established his capital later at Gao on the eastern upper Niger River. The Arabs, Moors, and the Sudanic writers attribute the ancient black African Hebrews the establishment of the first empires, the erection of the first public buildings in the country, the construction of the first canals and irrigation systems, and the institution of a social economic regime which still survives in all Saharan communities. By what factors can we explain the emergence of black Hebrew hegemony and leadership over the indigenous tribes? The answer is simple. The Jews came into the Western Sudan from northern and eastern Africa as a result of a chain of commercial and persecutory migrations. The Jews had settled among the civilized people throughout the ages. They adopted new methods from other people and left their material, educational, and moral imprint among the people with whom they resided. For many centuries, the Hebrews had to employ great physical and psychological initiative. They could not afford to be complacent or apathetic. They were hated. So apathy could mean cultural stagnation or death. The Jews imported into western parts of Africa a superior material, educational, and moral culture soon after 300 AD. And the cultural advancement was not duplicated or exceeded until the ascendancy of the Mohammedan leader Mansa Kankan Musa of Mali in 1312 AD. In the 3rd and 4th centuries AD, the Africans on the West Coast did not possess the cultural superiority of the Africans on the North and East coasts. The Black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes. They carried their culture, history, laws, and written records with them. They assured them a constant precedent for the development of the Black Judean culture. The Jews were not absorbed into the autochthonous population. The Jews were not absorbed into the autochthonous populations. In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes. The Jews made use of every opportunity. They were industrious and skillful people. In the Judean Ghanaian states were found kings, princes, governors, generals, secretaries, treasurers, revenue agents, judges, architects, engineers, doctors, historians, language interpreter, mathematicians, jewelers, sculptors, masons, carpenters, painters of art, goldsmiths, leather workers, potters, armorers, saddlers, blacksmiths, agriculturalists, etc. All right, family. All right, that was a nice review of the continuing migration of the Black Israelites, the Judeans, the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and remnants of the northern house of Israel's 9 tribes, as we were fleeing persecution from the Romans and the Islamic Mohammedan invaders of North Africa. So we continue to see the filtration, the migration, the diaspora, and we also see through the Islamic wars and conquests, some of our Judean brothers converted to Islam. So we're starting to see the influence of the Arabian philosophy of Islam and how it pervaded into the African peninsula as the various Judean migrations were converging together in various settlements in the various countries of Niger and territories of Guinea and Ghana and the Sudan were being established by Judean populations who carry a superior culture and nation. All praises. And family, That is who we are. That is who we be. This fits into the biblical prophecy as we were filtering through the land of Ham and establishing these civilizations, nations, cultures, and influence amongst the native African peoples. We are not Africans. We are the Israelites. All praises, family. And we shall continue with our review in the next part of the slave trade as we push further and further into history until we finally get to the first Israelite to set foot on American soil. So, Lord willing, I shall return, family. And until then, I love you. I love you. Family, I love you. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verses 6 through 9. For we are a holy people unto the Lord our God. The Lord our God has chosen us to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon us, nor choose us because we were more in number than any people, for we were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved us, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn to our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has the Lord brought us out with a mighty hand and redeemed us out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord our God, he is God, the faithful God, which keeps covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.